Thank you all for joining us this morning, both in person and virtually. My name is Mary Ann Mahoney, and I am Professor of History here at CCSU and the Director of the Latin American, Latino, and Caribbean Center. And welcome to Interpreting and Celebrating Jorge Morales' Roots of the Caribbean Mural. I'm not going to take up much of your time this morning. We have a tight schedule today and lots of wonderful presentations. We had the opportunity to chat a little bit with some of our speakers last night at dinner, and we all, I think, learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to further conversations this afternoon and this evening. But I want to explain the origins of the event and also to recognize our sponsors and at least a little of the hard work that's gone into making today possible. I particularly want to thank the Connecticut Humanities Council for their support. We are honored that they have placed such confidence in us. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank, first of all, Mildred Guzman-Young, our university assistant, who is running around picking up things and printing things and picking people up and generally making sure that we're completely organized. And I also want to take a minute to recognize the Latin American, Latino, and Caribbean Center workers who have, student workers who have made this possible. Over the summer, Imani Fuddle, Madeline Rodriguez, who joins us in the back, and Ariana Disdael, who will be here later, worked tirelessly to, among other things, develop bibliographies of scholarship in excellent Chicago format. Thank you very much. Develop bibliographies of scholarship about the intellectuals highlighted in the mural, which allowed us to identify and invite some of our speakers today. They also worked to research and write the descriptions of the legends for the mural that are now, I believe, up on our website. And they also developed a lot of the material in the program that you're going to see, and they did yeoman's work kind of figuring out all the flags that you see out on campus, and I hope you have the opportunity to take a walk around campus and see the flags of the Americas, Spain, Portugal, France, and Connecticut flying on campus. Beginning with the semester, Madeline and Ariana, in addition to Renaliz Oquendo, Colin Fontenelle, Alex Nunez, Andrew Peñaranda, Anthony Lopez, Amory Masonet Perez, helped with logistics and schedules. That poster that you see around, they proofread with me last Friday afternoon, right? They did schedules and posters and all sorts of other things necessary to make an event like this possible. I also want to acknowledge the LALCC Executive Board, Alwilda Reasco, who's here. Mirna Garcia Bowen will join us later. Rocio Fuentes, Lourdes Casas, Reynaldo Rojas, Walton Brown Foster, who's also the coordinator of Latin American Studies, Juan Coronado, who's the coordinator of Latino and Puerto Rican Studies, Catherine Sugg, who is also on the board, Sean Patrick Gallagher, chair of the art department. When I said, shall we bring Jorge to campus, said yes, immediately. There never was a question as to whether or not this was a good idea. And last but not least, Wangari Gishuru of the Africana Center for their co-sponsorship. Finally, let me say a word about founding director of the LALCC, at that time the Caribbean Center, Dr. Ronald Fernandez, sadly deceased now. His creativity and imagination for the existence of a Caribbean Center at CCSU and his understanding of the role that public art could play led to the creation of Jorge Morales' Roots of the Caribbean mural, which we are not only celebrating today, about 26 years after it was painted, but we're also interpreting it, because as I became director of the center and started asking people, well, who are all these people? What do you know about this mural? Many people could identify the semi and the cultural references, but the actual individuals were more complicated for people to recognize, and that is what led to today. And so I hope by the end of the day at 3 o'clock that we are all much better informed about the historical background. I am a historian after all, right? Historical and cultural background to the mural and the really extraordinary activism of the people that Jorge has included in his arts. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Sean. Yeah. Sean Gallagher, the chair of the art department, who will introduce our distinguished guest. Thank you.